which isn't probably the most famous book of the Bible, but it contains a lot of wisdom from part of the Bible's wisdom literature. It's by a man who was very experienced in life, but as he looked around the world, he found he was very disappointed actually with the world and what it had to offer, and he was so concerned that the world seems to be broken in very many ways, and many people waste a huge amount of their time and even waste their whole lives running after things which don't actually satisfy, things that are a waste of time. And his words are so relevant even today. This is what he says about money. A few of the things he says about money, and this is such a big issue, isn't it, as you think about your job. He says this about money: whoever loves money never has money enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income. This too is meaningless. As goods increase, so do those who consume them. And what benefit are they to the owner, except to feast his eyes on them? Naked a man comes from his mother's womb, and as he comes, so he departs. He takes nothing from his labor that he can carry in his hand. But don't chase after money. You know, you'll never have enough money, and you can't take it with you. And this man goes on to say that actually, much better, the best thing you can do and hope for in this life is to work hard and enjoy what you have. He says, I realize that it is good and proper for a man to eat and drink and to find satisfaction in his toilsome labor under the sun, the few days of life God has given him. For this is his lot. When God gives any man wealth and possessions and enables him to enjoy them, to accept his lot and be happy in his work, this is a gift of God. So much better to be satisfied with what you have and satisfied in work. But even then, the man goes on to say that actually he's not very optimistic even about that, working hard and so on. He says that someone might work hard their whole life, but then the people who come after him, whether that's the children, the people who inherit what he's worked for, or maybe the people who carry on his work, the people who come after him might be complete idiots. And they might waste everything you've worked for. That's a very depressing picture, isn't it? But it's realistic, isn't it? You can work and slave your whole life, and it might all be wasted by the people who come after you, who don't live in a wise way that you live. Is that the best we can hope for then? To work hard and enjoy it, but then it might all be wasted by those who come after it. Well, hundreds of years later, Jesus has some words to say to us which are so helpful. He says this: do not work for the food that spoils, but for food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. There is a food that is worth working for, which will last beyond this life. Now, what is that food that will last forever? Well, a few verses later, Jesus explains what he says. And he says this: I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry, and he who believes in me will never be thirsty.